Am I the asshole for pointing out my roommate chose to immigrate? My roommate, 23F, and I, 21F, have lived together for 6 months, along with a third roommate, and have become good friends. We attend a Canadian university. I was born in here while she is currently on a student visa from India. Her boyfriend recently was offered a very cool opportunity to attend an academic conference in the States over the March break. It's a big deal that he was asked to attend and the school will pay for his travel and accommodations. When he told her about this opportunity, he offered to split her plane ticket and she could stay in the hotel with him. Basically, he offered her 4 days in the States for the price of half a ticket, hotel and meals covered. But here's the issue. She can't legally enter the US. Well, she can but would need a visitor's visa, which she wouldn't be able to obtain in time for the trip. Because she is on a student visa, she is not allowed to cross the border. She's very upset that she is A, missing out on a great opportunity, and B, having plans with her boyfriend be changed. However, last night things reached a bit of a boiling point. It's been 2 weeks of her dragging her feet and complaining about her boyfriend's trip, and while at first we were both supportive, both me and my other roommate are starting to get a bit annoyed at the situation. Especially, she makes a lot of remarks about it not being fair that I am allowed to travel wherever I'd like. Comments I assumed weren't being serious until she explained to me that she genuinely thinks it isn't fair. Once she started complaining about my last-minute US trip that is coming up, me and my boyfriend decided on a whim to take a road trip to the States. I started getting very annoyed. In the heat of the moment, I snapped and pointed it out to her that she chose to come to Canada on a student visa knowing the conditions of her being here. She didn't take too well to that and hasn't really spoken to me all day. I do feel bad that I snapped at her, but on the other hand, if she had chosen a different country or stayed in her home, she would be free to travel as she pleases. I don't know a whole lot about the immigration system or how unfair it might be, but she made the decision to come here, and in doing so her right to enter the States. For context, she's told me quite a bit about her choice to study in Canada. She says she got bored after her bachelor's and applied to the first Canadian university she found online. She isn't leaving an unsafe household or area. Nah, it sounds like you just hit your limit with the venting sessions, which happens to the best of us when we're all cooped up sharing the same space and issues. It's a tough situation for her because missing out on cool opportunities due to visa issues totally sucks, but at the same time, it's not something within anyone's control in your apartment. Maybe just give her some space to cool off, and when things simmer down, perhaps you could help her explore options for the future so she doesn't feel as stuck. A little empathy goes a long way, but remember, everyone has their breaking point when it comes to hearing the same complaints. Not the asshole, but you were a little harsh. The US visa immigration system is cruel and capricious, and I'm an American. The Canadian one is not great for Indian nationals. So she's going disappointed to miss a fun opportunity and is venting to you as a friend. It's not your fault obviously, but you could be a little more sympathetic. She genuinely thinks it's unfair. Oh, absolutely, it is absolutely unfair, but what can we do about it? She can moan and complain all she wants, but it is laws and there is nothing could be done about it, at least not in time for the trip Tears of Joy. The issue, really, was not that she chose to immigrate. It's her passport and visa status. Unlucky really. Not the asshole. Her visa is her visa. She agreed to the terms of it. If she didn't want those limitations, then she should have applied for a different one. Not the asshole, but you're incorrect about her visa. As a student, she is allowed to leave the country and return. But because she has a passport where she needs to apply for a visitor's visa to the USA, as opposed to Canadian, where you can just show up, or other, first world countries that pay for an ETA that is approved in 24 hours, she cannot go to the US. It has nothing to do with Canadian immigration and everything to do with the US. Unless her visa has expired and she is on implied status, waiting for a renewal to come through. At that point, she can still leave Canada, but doesn't have a valid visa to return. Implied status does usually mean you can continue studying, working with the same conditions as your previous visa while in limbo land. This is somewhat of an ignorant and privileged post. I don't necessarily think you're an asshole though. It just shows that you've never experienced this unfairness yourself. Yes, it is unfair that people are segregated and treated differently based on where they were fertilized by chance as embryos. I'm an immigrant in the UK and my partner is from here, and I've missed a lot of experiences with him simply because I happened to be born somewhere else, something I had zero control over. And it's not necessarily the sadness of missing a trip that you feel, but that every little instance like this is like Western society reminding you, don't get too comfortable, because you're not really one of us. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that she is insane for not teaching her daughter English? My 20F family is originally from Sweden. My sister Kristen, 30F, was born in Sweden and was raised speaking Swedish and English. She and my parents came to the US when she was 10, and I was born not long afterwards. I was raised only speaking English. My parents did not bother having me learn Swedish because it isn't a widely spoken language where we live, and in fact when I was little, they had a rule that Kristen could only talk to me in English. They did this because they didn't want to hinder me being able to communicate with my peers. I visited Sweden maybe twice when I was really little and don't have any recollections. Kristen, however, has a lot of fond memories from her childhood. Since she's moved out, she has regularly visited Sweden. She has been married to her husband, Eric, 30M, for about 3 years. Eric is also from Sweden and came to the US in his early 20s. Eric was also raised speaking Swedish and English, but is more comfortable talking in Swedish. They have a daughter, Elsa, who 18 months old and learning to talk. When they came over for Christmas dinner, I tried to talk to Elsa, but Kristen told me that I can only talk to Elsa in Swedish, but not English. I thought she was raising Elsa speaking both Swedish and English, but she told me that they are not going to bother teaching her English. I asked why, and Kristen told me that they want Elsa to be connected to her heritage and also because they plan on eventually moving back to Sweden. I asked if she had idea as to when they will move, and she said it could be 1 year or 10 years. I told Kristen that she is doing Elsa a big disservice by not teaching her English. She told me it won't be an issue as she'll learn it when she goes to kindergarten. I said that I can understand wanting Elsa to know Swedish, and if they had any immediate plans to move back to Sweden, then I could understand prioritizing Swedish over English. But since they don't have any immediate plans to move back there, she should learn both languages now so she can communicate with her English-speaking relatives in the US, as well as her peers and her teachers when she goes to school. I said that not teaching Elsa any English at all is insane. Kristen got mad at me and told me I am being xenophobic. I told her this would not be an issue if Elsa speaks English too, but because almost nobody around here speaks Swedish, she's hindering her daughter. She said that it's possible that by the time Elsa is ready to start school, they might have moved back to Sweden. My parents are mostly on my side but say that they understand why she's doing this, and I was being harsh by saying that she was insane for not teaching her English and should be more understanding. I feel it is equally harsh for her to say I'm xenophobic. I think it's great to be multilingual, but one needs to be able to communicate with the majority of the people where they live. But now I'm starting to feel like maybe I was too harsh. Not the asshole. They live in the US, but they might move back to Sweden, so they're not teaching their daughter English. That's actually pretty dangerous. For example, what happens if Elsa gets lost and she can't understand when people ask her where her parents are, nor could she tell anyone who they are? Every little kid gets lost at some point in their lives, so this is not an unlikely scenario. In an emergency, how would, say, 3-year-old Elsa be able to tell anyone? I also have a good friend from Sweden, and she speaks 8 languages. According to her, English is a required subject in school in Sweden. So Elsa would actually be behind other kids who may have been speaking and or understanding English their whole lives. Both your parents and Kristen are crazy. Teach your kids as many languages as you can, at the age when learning languages is free. The more you know, the better. Numerous studies have shown a minor delay in the early grades, and then a great boost in later years. You are the asshole and literally nobody in these comments knows jack about what they're talking about or language acquisition. Your sister is doing exactly what experts recommend in order to teach a native language in a region it's not spoken. I promise it's not going to slow her kids down in the slightest. Learning English is inevitable in the US, and not only that, the kid is going to end up more fluent and comfortable in English regardless. You'd be surprised by how much your niece will already know by the time school starts, and by the time first grade begins nobody will be able to tell she didn't learn English as a first language at home. You are the asshole. I'm a preschool teacher and I've taught a couple kids who came in not speaking English. My grandmother only spoke Spanish at home and picked up English when she went to first grade. You and your parents are factually wrong. Elsa will pick up English quickly and easily in school, and speaking Swedish at home won't hinder her at all. If she starts preschool before going to kindergarten, it's better, mostly because it will keep her academically on track and on track with the social skills she will need for school, but it's nothing permanent. You are the asshole. What's the problem? She's right, she's going to learn English in school so she's not banning her from learning the language. This is more common than you think, and good for your niece that she won't be a typical American who only knows one language. Sounds like maybe you should learn Swedish to communicate better with your niece and brother-in-law. You are the asshole, but you are not xenophobic. You are talking about something you don't know. It's absolutely true she will learn English as soon as she go to the school and it's the only effective way she can learn Swedish. Look what happened to all these, no sapo, kids. A big effort is needed to teach another language in a place where English is so strong. And no effort is needed to teach English in such an English-speaking place. Am I the asshole for not giving money to my godchild? This happened on the morning of December 31st. Here's some backstory. I have an ex-friend who stopped being part of our friend group around 2020 or 2021. I don't remember exactly. She blocked all of us because of her toxic boyfriend, baby daddy, who didn't like us. He claimed we were causing their fights by pointing out issues like her being seen with another guy and other cheating problems. A few months later, she unblocked us and added us back on Facebook. I accepted her request but didn't talk to her anymore. Eventually, I unfriended her because of all the negativity and toxic posts she kept sharing about her baby daddy. After almost 4 years of no contact, I was shocked when she messaged me at midnight on Christmas, asking if she could celebrate with us. I didn't respond because I didn't want to entertain her message and accept her message request. Then on December 31st, after a week of long hours at work, I was surprised to see her son and his grandmother in our living room. In our culture, when your godchild comes to greet you during Christmas or days after Christmas, you're expected to give them a gift or money. Her son is around 4 or 5 years old, I can't remember exactly. To say I was shocked and annoyed would be an understatement. I mean, seriously? My ex-friend, who I haven't spoken to in years, sent her son and mother to my house. I was upset and just nodded at the child. I heard my mom telling the grandmother, "She's not in the mood," and they left. Later, my family told me I was being cruel and cold, and that I shouldn't let my anger at the mother affect the child. They said I should have just given money. I told them I wasn't obligated to do so. Now, I'm wondering, was I wrong in this situation? Was I the asshole? Not the asshole. Even if it is for the child, going into someone's house uninvited is very disrespectful, especially that she cut you off years ago. You are not obligated to give anything, especially there's no relationship here anymore. Not the asshole. What the actual F? You don't owe them anything. They cut ties, behaved erratic and toxic, and arrived without an invitation. They can GTFO. Not the asshole. The kid hasn't seen you since he was a small baby. He has no idea who you are, so you haven't upset him by not giving him money. His mother sounds awful and his grandma doesn't seem much better. Not the asshole. I felt like you were a Pinoy, because for Christmas we often give money or gifts to our godchild. TBH, they went to your house without saying it in advance. They should have at least gave you a heads up, right? What did they expect in return? Also, Christmas shouldn't be about gifts, cash. Not the asshole. I don't know your culture, but the idea that this kid could just rock up expecting money, when you haven't seen the kid in years and are no longer friends with the mother, that's pure insanity. I honestly think that's tacky as all hell. So your ex-friend couldn't even be bothered to come visit you, even with the prospect of getting some money? Not the asshole. You behaved very well, emo. Am I the asshole? Boyfriend's mother will not stop doing our laundry. I have asked her to stop. Edit. I am trying to keep up with comments, but this blew up way more than I thought it would. Please see the edits at the bottom. They clear up a lot of confusion from my original text. I have been with my boyfriend for almost 6 years now, and I have kids from a previous relationship. We all live together. His mother does not live with us, but is here almost every day. Our work schedule is such that his mom helps out by coming over very early to wake the kids up and get them ready for school. I really love his mom, she is great. She also picks them up from school, brings them home, and stays with them until we get home. She usually eats dinner with us too. She has a habit of helping out around the house when I don't want her to. Dishes is fine, picking up stuff also fine. But she also does our laundry, which is the problem. I bought a laundry separator and have baskets. Everything is labeled by whose clothes, what goes in which basket. I do not like washing the kids' things together because they are different sizes, but close enough I have to check every tag when I am putting them away to make sure they don't get mixed up. I do not like mixing the loads together because it honestly makes it a nightmare for me to put away so many different categories at the same time. I don't go crazy. I don't separate colors or anything. Just per person loads, towels, sheets and blankets. I have a system of folding things so that everything fits where it is supposed to go. When she does the laundry, she will just dump whatever in the washer while we are still at work. She will fold everything wrong. Boyfriend's clothes are on the top shelf of the closet, and if the pants or shorts are folded wrong, the whole pile falls down and I have to refold everything. Same for the towels. She doesn't check everything with the kids' clothes, and when they get mixed up, the kids fight about it. When she hangs their stuff up, I have to check everything and put the wrong things where they're supposed to go. I have asked her to stop doing the laundry many times. I have also asked her to not mix the baskets together. I've shown her how to fold the clothes so they fit and stay without falling. She also has a habit of starting a load of laundry and leaving it in the wash, and telling me about it as she's leaving in a hectic moment, and I usually forget about it and have to rewash it. I come home, washer is going. She's in the laundry room folding clothes. In the moment, I feel like I'd be an asshole if I said something, but I just want to be like, please put the clothes down and get out of this room. I have to fix it every time she touches it. My boyfriend thinks I'm being an asshole about it because she's helping. He does not do laundry. He does not understand why it's making me so ungodly angry, because he does not have to fix it later after it has been done. Is he right? Am I the asshole? I feel like I'm going crazy about laundry. Edit for clarification. Yes, I have directly asked her recently not to do the laundry. Over Christmas break I said exactly, hey, I spent all week getting the house back up to par, and I organized all the laundry the way it has to be correct. Please don't do the laundry anymore. I felt awful telling her not to do it, but I did in fact say exactly not to do it. I have asked many times before that as well. I am Gentile with my approach every time, but I do directly say, don't do the laundry. I will do it. Edit. I know she does watch the kids for free, and it's wonderful, but we never asked her to. We both work for their school. They can come in with us early so it's not super difficult. They would just have to get up earlier. They can come home with us after work, just later. She wants them to get more sleep in the mornings. She took the task on herself and I love her and appreciate her for it. They call her grandma. Edit. The house is not dirty. I grew up in a hoarding house, so my house is clean, and I try to avoid clutter and mess at all costs. The mess in my house is normal and lived in. Edit again. I will not lock my laundry room door either. I'm angry, not petty. The room is used for more than just laundry. BF's uncle is coming over sometimes to do his own laundry, since their washer broke and they cannot afford a new one. They will not accept a new one from us. We have tried. It is also the room that the kids' wardrobe is in, as they cannot have their clothes in their room without digging through them in the mornings when I am at work, and putting them all over the floor. I could have them choose outfits the night before, and leave them out, but if his uncle comes by to do laundry he would not be able to. Info. What's the communication disconnect here? She thinks her way is better? Your way has too many different steps so she can't follow? What's her response when you tell her that you'll handle the laundry on your own? Real issue here is that your boyfriend doesn't do laundry. He is a grown man. After his mother does her baby boy's laundry, you should just pile it up on his side of the bed and let him deal with putting it away. Comment for clarification: she is here for an hour in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening at most while we are gone. Not all day. She stays in the evenings to hang out and have dinner. We also help her out a lot with other things. It's not a one-way help situation. Looks like your boyfriend is volunteering to take over the laundry. You do need to be explicit. I appreciate your help, but I have a specific way to do the laundry, and if it isn't followed exactly, it makes my life harder. So happy if you follow my exact instructions or leave it for me. But not doing it your way. Everyone sucks here. Your mother-in-law should leave the clothes alone. But is this worth starting nuclear war over? You could buy one of those keyed cable lock things, but realize, your boyfriend doesn't think this is an issue to resolve, so you're probably going to open a can of worms with him. You're getting a whole lot of help from this woman. Maybe your price is dealing with laundry aggravation. You decide. Am I the only one icked out at the thought of my mother-in-law touching my bras and underwear?